1943, and the USS Borie is hunting for a U-boat in the midst of a terrible storm in the North Atlantic. Contact 8,000, yards away at 170. Contact appears on the ship's radar. In command is 30-year-old Lieutenant Charles Harris Hutchins. He quickly issues the order to give chase at maximum speed. Turn 170, flank speed, and the USS Borie powers through 15-foot
We have a
waves.
contact. Bearing
But nearby,
045,
around 5
range
nautical
12.
miles away,
Unidentified.
sits U-405, a Type 7C U-boat under the command of Corvette Capitan Rolf
8,000 yards at bearing
The
170.
U-boat is surfaced and it's recharging its batteries.
I have a
Under the
contact
cover
bearing
of darkness
090.
when,
Range,
deep within the
15
ship,
miles.
the hydrophone operator hears something. It's the unique
Turn
telltale sound
170.
of propellers churning
Flank
through
speed.
the water. High-speed ship bearing 90. Hydrophone operator reports
All hands,
high-speed ship
battle
bearing
stations.
90. Hoffman knows there is no friendly ships in the area.
This is not
This
a drill.
has to be an American.
Set condition 1 throughout
Prepare
the
to
ship.
dive. All crew to battle stations. Alarms ricochet through the U-boat, and the 45-man crew urgently prepare to dive below the surface. Back on the USS Borie, Hutchins searches in the darkness for any sign of his enemy. He can't see a thing, but the radar operator continues providing updates. Hutchins orders course corrections in response. Steady as she goes. 2,000. Bearing
All hands, clear the
265
deck.
until the U-boat vanishes from their radar
Dive!
screens.
Dive!
Contact has been lost, sir. The news sends chills down
All
Hutchins'
hands,
spine.
clear the deck.
The U-boat has submerged, and
Dive!
that can only
Dive!
mean one thing. The Germans know they're here, and now the two are in a deadly game of cat and
Captain,
mouse.
sounds of a destroyer,
Half speed.
bearing 090.
Any returns on sonar? With the
Getting
submarine
closer.
submerged, sonar tracking the echoes from a U-boat is their only chance. There's a contact. Sonar contact, 2,000 yards bearing 170. Turn 170.
High-speed ship,
Hutchins
bearing
orders
90.
a course to intercept. On board the U-boat, the submariner on the hydrophone listens intently,
Prepare
but he
to
can
dive!
only hear
All
Borie's
hands to
general
battle
direction.
stations!
The data isn't precise enough for a counterattack. What he can hear is ever louder propellers, and the regular sonar pulse emanating from Borie. They're very close, Captain. Turn to port. Meanwhile, aboard the USS Borie, the sonar operators track the U-boat drifting into range. 600 yards. Prepare port launchers for depth charges. The crew move quickly, left side depth charge racks clattering as they ready the release. Then the sonar
Signal
trace
weakening,
shifts
bearing
abruptly.
290.
Contact has
game,
been
quickly.
lost, sir. The U-boat has
It's gone,
slipped directly
Lieutenant. We
beneath
lost
their
contact.
keel. 500 yards.
Contact
Now
lost,
bearing
sir.
starboard, drawing fast. Full to starboard. Hutchins orders a hard turn to pursue the target, swinging the rear of the ship towards the submarine to bring the depth charges to bear. 300 yards. Fire! The charges
Half
launch
speed.
off with loud thunks, flying through the air and splashing into the sea right by
Any
the
returns on sonar?
U-405's nose.
Contact 2,000 yards, bearing 170.
Turn 170.
The destroyer is approaching fast, Captain. Bearing 090. We have heavy screws.
They're very close, Captain.
Evasive maneuvers.
Turn to port. Silent running. Prepare port launchers for depth charges.
The U-boat is rocked by the blasts. The shockwave punches the submarine's bow. Flooding in the bow, sir. Flooding is impossible to stem when a submarine is fully submerged, as the water pressure is too great.
Prepare
So
port
Hoffman
launchers
is
for
left
depth
without any
charges.
choice. Surface and man the guns. USS Borie sails past, and her sailors look back at the scene of the explosion. The water is still settling. From the blasts, when they witness, the mighty U-boat burst from under the
Taking
sea.
heavy damage.
It
Maneuvering
surfaced
is
on our
compromised.
stern. Turn on the searchlight.
All hands,
Inform lights
brace
where to
for
point.
impact.
Lights
Damage
come
control
on,
to the rear.
and U-405 is
Wassereinbruch im Bug,
immediately
Herr
clearing the
Kalin.
light. Dozens of
Dicht halten.
Germans are pouring
Volle
out
Kraft, Kraft
of the
voraus.
hatches, and they rush to man their 20mm guns and open
Surface.
fire. The weapons come alive
Man
with
the
loud
guns.
bangs, sending shells streaking over the waves. The shells slam into the USS Borie's hull and litter the superstructure, sending American sailors diving for cover. On U-405, German sailors brave the heavy wind and waves. The Borie's spotlight shines directly on their faces as they fire away with 20mm guns.
It's
But they
surfaced
know
on
it's
our
not enough.
stern.
The German sailors scramble to ready their much more powerful 80mm deck gun. Hutchins knows the danger and acts swiftly. All guns, local control, pointer fire. The guns open fire. The first salvos fly over the Germans' heads and splash into the water behind. But it doesn't take long for Borie's 20mm cannons to find their mark.
Schnell,
Shells
Männer!
crash through
An
the
die
U-405's
Positionen!
forecastle, devastating the
Laden!
German gunners,
Fertig,
including
zum Feuer!
those manning the vital 88 Saladias.
Turn on the searchlight.
Heavy losses reported. Reinforce the deck guns. Keep firing. There's a stream of determined men, but they don't last. They fall in droves, sliding into the deep amid the fray. Brave men reach the 88mm and try to aim. But when they look down the sights, they find themselves staring directly at a wall of 4-inch, main guns aimed towards them. They're too late. The shells slam directly into the forecastle in a brutal strike. When the smoke clears, U-405's 88mm gun and its valiant
Fire at
crew are
will.
gone. Borie
Keep those
continues its
barrels
wide
hot.
about turn while pummeling the enemy without relent. But it's not enough. Hutchins knows conning tower hits will never sink it. He needs to deal a fatal blow. Ram it! The helmsman steers the ship towards the target as Hutchins warns the crew, stand by for a ram. Stand by for a ram. All hands brace as the ship barrels down towards the sub at 27 knots. USS Borie crashes directly into the side of U-405,
Reinforce the
which
deck
buckles her
guns.
bow. Deep inside Borie, Chief Engineer Kenneth Miles Lucas sees torrents of water gushing
Halt es
from the
fest.
fissures.
Rein damit. Schnell, bevor die nächste Welle kommt. Granate vorwärts. Schnell, bewegt euch. Kartusche rein. Verschluss zu.
Get me the repair
She's
team.
still afloat.
Over in U-405, Hoffman stumbles to his feet and orders, attack! German sailors charge out of the hatches, and a massive firefight breaks out on both decks. Borie's sailors have Tommy guns,
Brace for
pistols,
impact.
and rifles,
All hands,
but the
brace
rest
for
fight
impact.
with whatever
Hold on.
they can find. Flare pistols, shell casings, entire misfired shells, and even kitchen knives are fair tools in this chaos. The Germans fight back as best they can, but the Americans have cover and the advantage of elevation. The U-boat's deck grants no cover, and its last defenders don't stand a chance. The U-405
The destroyer
incredibly
surges
is still
forward
afloat
at
and
27
functional.
knots.
But the crew is devastated and they've lost all their weapons, except the torpedoes. Full back, hard to port. U-405 pulls with all its power in an attempt to slip from Borie's grasp. The Americans watch as the U-405 starts to move underneath them. But not everything is going the Americans' way. Deep in the engine compartment, engineers attempt speedy repairs as the water quickly rises. Lucas and his men continue to work the turbines, battling
Status
through the water.
report now.
The ship moves forward, now laden with hundreds of
I
tons
want
of water
containment
filling
teams on the
up its
lower
hull.
deck immediately.
Borie's gunners
Move.
continue to fire, but they
Get me
can't
the
strike
female
a
repair
final
crew
blow.
now.
Prepare torpedoes. One of USS Borie's triple torpedo mounts stirs to life and aims its payload towards the target. Fire! A torpedo blasts out to sea and tears a path towards the enemy, but misses. Hoffman is in a terrible position. The ship's managing, but only 15 of its 45-man crew remain. Heinrich orders a Hail Mary. Turn around. Prepare torpedoes. On the USS Borie, the men see the U-405 turning around to attack. Hutchins, though, has a plan. Disable the searchlight. The light that had been so crucial to land-accurate gunfire goes dark. The men aboard the U-405 see the light go out. Hoffman is surprised. This is their chance to escape. Abort torpedo attack. Turn to starboard. But USS Borie's radar never lost sight of the submarine, and Hutchins' plan has worked. Enable the searchlight. The lights come back on, revealing U-405 immediately in front. Ram it. Without hesitation, the helmsman turns towards the submarine, aiming for a direct hit. Hi, I am David Webb, the narrator of this film, and the head of Yarn Hub. If you think films like this are important and you would like to invest in Yarn Hub as a video producer, and also with our move into gaming, you can now buy shares in our company. Please click the link in the description
Secure the
for the
discharge
full
line. I'm starting the
details
engine.
on how you can own a piece of our company and share in our
The
future.
barrier's almost
Hoffman
stabilized.
sees it coming and orders evasive maneuvers. U-405 makes a nimble turn to sneak past USS Borie's starboard side. But Hutchins won't let it go that easily. Hard to
Keep her
starboard!
steady!
The whole ship trembles as it strains through the maneuver. Stern swinging out towards the enemy and bringing depth charges into range.
Prepare torpedoes!
Hold the line steady there. All right, easy now. Bring it down slowly. Watch the clearance on the hatch. Fire one.
Disable the searchlight.
Schau, sie dreht ab.
Ziehen Sie sich zurück.
Der Amerikaner flieht. Abort torpedo! Turn starboard! Enable the searchlight!
The canisters fly off the mounts and
U-405
splash
appears
perfectly
dead
around
ahead.
the enemy ship. The explosions send U-405 into a tumble.
Ram
Its
it
hull is now
again!
breached beyond repair. There's silence across the water until the Germans fire out flares from their stricken U-boat. It's a signal to surrender. Moments later, 15 survivors and their captain make their way out and board life rafts. USS Borie inches close to the stricken men, seeing what they can do to help in the heaving waves. But a lookout shouts to announce a flare in the distance, shortly followed by an incoming torpedo. Flare astern. Torpedo in the water. They assume it's another
Hard to
German
starboard.
submarine. Hutchins immediately orders Borie to turn the stern towards the incoming torpedo to show a thin profile. But that also sends Borie straight into the German life rafts.
Drop the charge
The
now!
Borie's
Drop!
crew are forced to abandon the German survivors who await rescue.
Fire!
That rescue would never come, and the men of U-405 were all lost to the Atlantic. USS Borie wins the engagement, but is still mortally wounded. The flooding cannot be stopped. Lucas and his men continue operating. The engines, even as they have to dive to reach the valves. Eventually, they evacuate through the roof hatch. The crew abandon ship. Tragically, the sea also claimed 27 of USS Borie's 122 men before rescue ships arrived at the scene. Both Lieutenant Commander Charles, Harris Hutchins,
Some
and Kenneth
legends
Miles
sink,
Lucas survived the war.
but never
Hutchins would
die.
be awarded the Navy Cross for his actions. Those Japanese are up to something at Midway. What would their perspective look like? Watch this film and find out.
Their bravery lives on in every sailor who faces the sea.